is a very, very big celebration and big spend in the Marwari culture. Deep understanding, and that comes from spending time with the family. Delhi की शादियां और बॉम्बे की शादियां देख लो, सचिन.
पंजाबियां दी बैटरी चार्ज रहंदी है 24 घंटे. I think it's a series that came on OTT platform called Made in Heaven. That actually kind of showcased a lot of sentiments. You know?
I always feel one of the biggest qualities any planner should have is compassion and flexibility. Don't say this, yaar. My clients will think I don't answer calls.
Hello and welcome to the Wedding Podcast, your go-to destination for all things wedding. My name is Sachin Kumbhar and I talk for a living, and here I am to introduce you to the host of the Wedding Podcast. She's someone who's been in the wedding business for years, done some of the most exclusive weddings, I would say the fancy weddings as well, not just in India, but the world over. Gives me immense pleasure to welcome the host of the Wedding Podcast, Aarti Manocha. A rocking welcome to you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, कैसी हैं आप?
बिल्कुल ठीक. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
My pleasure.
And this is going to be what I have to do from the next few episodes. So I'm going to be learning from the master.
I'm getting emotional now.
And for people who do not know Sachin Kumbhar, I have to give a very short and sweet introduction. He is the powerhouse of anchoring and voiceover in our country. Be it lifestyle events, sports, media events, or the grandest of sangeets and weddings. Sachin, with his baritone voice and quick wits, creates a charm on stage which can kill you. So I'm so happy that we are doing this first one with Sachin here. Thank you, Sachin, for...
My pleasure. Always there for you.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that, you know, you've launched something like this, but would like to get into the details of it. But as she mentioned, she calls me for the grandest of shows, which
yes.
You know that she's the one of them who does the grandest of shows. So we want to know, first things first, is what is this podcast all about?
This podcast, like you said, is the go-to destination for weddings. I mean, in simple words. बट ये आइडिया आया मुझे जब मैं क्लाइंट्स से मिलती हूँ और इंटरेक्ट करती हूँ. मुझे रियलाइज़ होता है कि बहुत रिसर्च करनी पड़ती है बिफोर दे इवन कम टू अ प्लानर और एनीबडी. उनको दे हैव टू गो टू 50,000 एवेन्यूज़ टू चेक. सोशल मीडिया पे जाते हैं, पिंटरेस्ट पे जाते हैं, यूट्यूब पे जाते हैं, एंड देन what they see there is a lot of information on weddings, but on individual companies, on people which are brand owners. We wanted to keep this as more a platform which is going to bring in the experts, and this will be a platform for everybody to come and talk about their experiences. So we'd like to achieve three things here: information, inspiration, and insights. These are the three I's that I'd like to achieve at this podcast for the to-be married couples, unke parivar, families, whoever is researching. You know, हर episode के बाद there should be a takeaway कि चलो कुछ नया हमने समझा, सीखा, which is going to be helpful in our journey.
Well, the three I's, we've got our eyes on the Wedding Podcast, I would say. You are a busy bee. I have to say, if you have to get in touch with Aarti, it takes quite an arduous task because she doesn't answer calls because, of course, you're working.
Don't say this, yaar. My clients will think I don't answer calls. No,
हम कह रहे हैं हमारे यार. But I want to get to what actually cropped the idea. What said, made you think that this is what I want to do, this Wedding Podcast?
Digital today is so big, Sachin. Everybody's taking that route, and I realize I'm my generation. I'm not so digital savvy, to be honest, but I'm getting there. I'm getting my hands on that. मुझे realize हुआ कि podcast बहुत ही एक अच्छा platform, informative platform है for people to learn and get an understanding. Also, industry specific podcast maybe will be the way forward, I feel so. And weddings पे ऐसा कोई specific, I mean there are people who've done a few things, but I didn't see something dedicated to the vision that I carry of bringing people from all avenues, you know, be it decor, be it F&B, be it artist, you know, be it planners. So मुझे ये एक community और एक ऐसा platform create करना था जहाँ पर when you think of weddings you have 50,000 questions and you should try and get as many answers. बस यही था.
सो ये शादी करने के लिए होमवर्क बुक रहेगी.
Exactly, like your little black book kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So, you know, I would say this will definitely get the people from the wedding industry to listen and watch. But biggest question as a layman, if अगर मेरे घर में शादी है या मेरे यार की शादी है, I want to get going. How will it benefit me or the families who जिन्हें शादी करानी है अपने घर में?
यार तुम एक्सपर्ट से सुन रहे हो उन लोग ने क्या किया है, तुम यू गेट आइडियाज़, यू गेट थीम्स. तुम ये सुन रहे हो कि इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो रहा है, क्या होने वाला है. यू विल ऑल्सो मीट अ लॉट ऑफ डेस्टिनेशंस. तो आई थिंक इंफॉर्मेशन will help them with what their plans are. It will help them navigate through this whole selection process better. और पॉडकास्ट तो यही है यार, आजकल सब सीख ही रहे हैं उसी से. एवरीबडी इज लर्निंग थ्रू डिजिटल एंड सोशल मीडिया. सो
अब जो आरती इस शो के जरिए यू गोइंग टू टॉक ऑल अबाउट वेडिंग्स, राइट? बट इस शो में, आज के इस शो में, लेट्स ऑल्सो गेट टू नो आरती अ लिटिल मोर एज टू आरती. वेडिंग्स इज नॉट अ केक वॉक. Right, it's not easy as it looks. It all looks glam, it looks dolled up, everything is glitteringly glamorous, but it's not easy. But what actually inspired you? What was that thought that, hey, I want to get into wedding planning?
यार बहुत ही boring story है सचिन, to be honest. It was by default that I got in.
Well, I'm glad, but you're making a lot of money out of that.
Yeah, I think by default जो होता है कुछ अच्छा ही होता है. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know. But yeah, I've been a truly travel and tourism professional before I entered weddings. And मैंने सोचा नहीं था कि I will ever do weddings the way I do them. We started with just one project and उसका हम कुछ logistics और you know hospitality angle handle कर रहे थे. And we at that time actually merged with another event company to you know get them to do the event side of it. But मैंने यार ये तो करना है, ये तो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है, why not, you know. And then I switched gears. I understood a lot about this industry, समझी, सीखी, and then when the next opportunity came, we handled it 360 degree entirely. वो एक्सपीरियंस मेरे लिए इतना अच्छा था कि देन आई सेड दिस इज़ इट, दिस इज़ माई कॉलिंग, आई एन्जॉय दिस स्पेस, आई काइंड ऑफ रेजोनेट विद इट और मुझे यही करना है. एंड थैंकफुली मैंने वो टाइम पे किया जब ये इंडस्ट्री ये पेस पे नहीं थी. इट वॉज येट नॉट एन इंडस्ट्री. ये तो अब इंडस्ट्री इसको कह रहे हैं हम, बट दैट टाइम वेडिंग्स हैव ऑलवेज लास्टेड, बट the recognition of being called it as an industry has been a very recent phenomenon. You know, it's happened, I would say, probably 2 decades ago. That gives away my age, by the way, but हाँ, तो मैंने तो उससे पहले थोड़ा शुरू किया था.
Age is just a number.
That's true.
You got your racer, you know, car on the racing track at the right time, and you're in top gear through and through, right? So here you go, in full swing. Now, planning a शादी, उसमें बहुत सारी डिटेलिंग लगती है, बहुत सारी, हर एक चीज़ को बारीकी से देखना पड़ता है, from the flowers to everything. But there's also a sea of emotions that is floating around, right? Through the wedding, the families everywhere. But according to you, what are the key factors to actually put together a unforgettable celebration?
I think it's, you know, I think it's a lot of prep and planning, to be honest. But when I say planning and prep, जो फैमिली ये जर्नी पे एम्बार्क होने वाली है, उनको पहले आपस में ना थोड़ा इसको एक, they should not just jump. What happens in Indian families is कल पक्का हुआ, रोका हुआ, you know, engagement हुई, चलो लेट्स स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन द वेडिंग. मिलना चालू कर दो इंडस्ट्री से, प्लानर्स को बुलाना चालू कर दो, स्टार्ट मेकिंग कॉल्स. देयर आर फैमिलीज जो पहले डीजे बुक कर देते हैं, यू नो, कि डीजे मिस ना हो, फेयर इनफ. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आपको पहले बैठ के यू हैव टू असेंबल व्हाट डू यू रियली वांट, क्रिएट लाइक अ विजन बोर्ड, यू नो, कि व्हाट डू आई रियली वांट टू डू, मैं कौन से डायरेक्शन में, बिकॉज दैट विल हेल्प यू मीट द राइट पीपल. and that is the pre-plan that a family should put. Then when a planner comes on board, then it is the role of the planner to start taking that entire, planning and looking forward to putting this whole journey together for the family. That is then the planner's job to take that forward for them. And that is a long process. It is meticulous. I like to divide it in 3 sectors: selection, planning and budgeting, and execution. तो ये तुम्हारे 3 फ्रेमवर्क हैं वेरी क्लियरली. सिलेक्शन टेक्स द मैक्सिमम टाइम, क्योंकि वहाँ आपको बहुत लोगों से मिलना है. यू आर वांटिंग टू बी वेरी पर्टिकुलर. मुझे यही डिज़ाइनर चाहिए, मुझे ये मेकअप आर्टिस्ट चाहिए, मुझे ये साड़ी ड्रेपर चाहिए, मुझे ये फ्लावर्स चाहिए, मुझे ये डेकोर चाहिए. तो वो काफ़ी वो प्रोसेस और वो टाइम सबसे ज़्यादा you invest a lot more time into that. Also, that's the time where the planner's experience comes totally, it has to be bought on the table for the family to be able to take this forward. Then the planning and budgeting is the next step, and then the big day.
विजन बोर्ड जो आपने मेंशन किया वो सिर्फ कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में सुना था, वेडिंग वर्ल्ड में मैंने कभी नहीं सुना. बट रियलिस्टिकली स्पीकिंग कोई अगर फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल 2 फैमिलीज बैठी हैं या तय करिए शादी, यू थिंक दे विल बी एबल टू पुट अ विजन बोर्ड टुगेदर?
Why not? Yeah, we're talking about, look at the couples getting married now. They know it exactly what they want. And why not? See, हर चीज़ weddings के बारे में इतनी professional हो गई है. Unlike earlier. पहले कौन करता था शादियाँ? मामा, चाचा, फैमिली में मासी, बुआ. But today you have a wedding planning company. You are hiring professionals. They are working on calendars. They are working on, making it as professional as a project. तो विजन बोर्ड क्या ही बड़ी बात है.
So now that brings me to my next question, is that when couples are ready to take that plunge into marriage, when do they actually begin their wedding planning?
Ideally, between 6 to 8 months prior to the wedding date that they've chosen. But there's no one trend, Sachin, इसमें. मतलब कभी-कभी it's a very personal family decision. Sometimes engagement hui, they do not want to wait till the next year because the Muhurat dates are only that many. Most of the weddings, if you've realized, वो November से Jan के बीच में, those are the dates that come. Then there are a few dates in the summer. But ideally that's not the best time weather-wise, India में या बाहर अगर आप सोच रहे हैं. तो फिर उतने टाइम तक अगर somebody is getting engaged sometimes in August, September, they don't want to wait for the next year. They want to do it quickly within that year. So sometimes there's a very small window that the planner gets, 2 से 3 महीने या 4 महीने. But ideal time is 6 to 8 months.
What is the shortest time that you've ever actually pulled off a wedding?
You will be surprised. मैंने एक बहुत ही बड़ी शादी 2 महीने में की है. I actually went and I started living in Dubai because it was a wedding in the UAE. And when I got the call और मुझे कहा कि February में शादी है, I was talking to them in November. I said, next February करेंगे आराम से. नहीं ये February 2017 में. And I'm like, really? अभी तक आपने कुछ नहीं किया? नहीं, अभी decide हुआ है. And then within 2 months we pulled off, and it was a massive project. ऐसा भी नहीं कि वो एक छोटी intimate wedding थी. It was really a large project.
Now you said the wedding was in Dubai. Now you've done weddings in different regions of not just the country but across the globe as well, right? So how do you navigate? And if I have to give an example, 2 states picture हमने तो देखी थी. वो 2 states में कैसे अलग mindset थे, अलग cultures थे. So how do you manage with those state-wise or country-wise dynamics and the diverse cultures?
I think over the years we've kind of learnt it. Maximum weddings is a very very big celebration and big spend in the Marwari culture. तो मैं तो कहती हूँ मस्ती में कि मैं आधी मारवाड़ी बन चुकी हूँ.
Big shout out to all the Marwadis who are watching us.
So yeah, it is every community has its own customs, and it's very important to understand and not really ignore them. I always say, understand them deeply कि what is the essence of that particular ritual, custom or tradition, because it's very important to the family, and उसको आप mitigate नहीं करना चाहिए आपको बिल्कुल भी. उसको आप you have to make sure कि वो आप incorporate कर रहे हो, rightly कर रहे हो. वैसे ही आजकल traditions are pretty much dying out of the wedding scenario, but there are some families who are very particular. So culturally also things are very different in every state, you know. I mean, आज आप दिल्ली की शादियाँ और बॉम्बे की शादियाँ देख लो, सचिन.
पंजाबियां दी बैटरी चार्ज रहंदी है 24 घंटे. That's the whole vibe in Delhi. In the
Delhi is
north.
opulent, big
Yeah,
weddings.
yeah.
Bombay is slightly different, and there are reasons ऐसे क्यों है. Because एक तो ना दिल्ली में हर सेलिब्रेशन बहुत बड़ा होता है, बड़े घर होते हैं, you know, लोगों के बैकयार्ड्स इतने बड़े हैं कि तुम 300-400 लोगों की शादी तो अपने घर में कर सकते हो. बॉम्बे में हम रहते हैं फ्लैट्स में, और
Match boxes.
आधा टाइम यू आर गोइंग क्रेजी ट्राइंग टू सर्च फॉर अ वेन्यू. तो हर स्टेट का एक अपना, देयर इज अ डिफरेंट आस्क, देयर इज अ डिफरेंट रिक्वायरमेंट, and then there are different cultures, so it's way diverse. So you have to really work around this whole piece by having a deep understanding, and that comes from spending time with the family. आपको ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है कि what is it that they want, what's their culture of their home. Because शादी is like coming home ना. तुम चाहे होटल ले लो या डेस्टिनेशन ले लो, but you have to create the माहौल in such a way कि हम उनके घर आ रहे हैं. That's the sentiment that we have to create.
Now, you know, one more, I think it's a series that came on OTT platform called Made in Heaven. That actually kind of showcased a lot of sentiments, you know. So in that whole series, what we saw is the wedding planner roaming around with a glass of champagne. And does that really happen?
I wish. मैंने जब वो देखा, मैंने भी सोचा, मैंने यार, we are always the most underdressed, running around with our walkies, sleep deprived, not eaten, and trying to just get things done rightly. It's not the same. Few things in the season or the
Series,
first and
yeah.
second season were good. I mean, some things you could relate to. Some things were relatable. But most of it, I feel, of course, yeah, when you make a movie or when you make a series, you always, the glamour quotient is a lot more than
Quadrupled.
the reality is very different at times. Also, I don't think हम लोग personally इतना deep dive करते हैं, involve होते हैं कोई family के साथ. कभी कभी हो जाता है कि you form great relations, और कोई specific suggestion the family needs that they ask you, which is a very personal space, but more than often it doesn't happen.
So जो सीरीज में दिखाया है कि पर्सनल टच देते हैं, उनकी लिटरली उनके साथ उनकी जिंदगी जीते हैं उस 2 या 6 महीने के लिए, इट्स नॉट ट्रू.
टू एन एक्सटेंट होता है सचिन, बट जैसे उसमें काफ़ी कुछ दिखाया है कि यू नो यू आर लिटरली इवन स्टेपिंग इन टू सर्टन पर्सनल इशूज़ जो पीपल आर बैटलिंग. आई डोंट थिंक वो एक्सटेंट तक होता है, बट डेफिनेटली येस, we handle very anxious mothers of the bride or groom, because you know there's a lot of anxiety that comes in. Brides are very anxious at times, so wo sab hota hai. Those kind of emotional support, understanding has to be there. I always feel one of the biggest qualities any planner should have is compassion and flexibility, because you got to go with every journey differently. Everybody is different. Every wedding is different from the other. Every family is different from the other. So you have to have that kind of patience, compassion, love and passion towards your own work to be able to take that, because sometimes it can be overwhelming emotions.
One of the most key factors you mentioned was patience. You need a lot of patience, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
All right. The wedding industry, as we always see, carries an aura of, you know, being the luxury, glamorous, glitz. Everything is just too proper. Everything is proper, right, for those days. What is your perception of the wedding industry?
I say a wedding planner or the main curator of the wedding, he's as good as a movie director. but with not the luxury of second takes. He has to get it right in those 3 days. That only means a lot of hard work. That only means meticulous planning. That only means that you have to have plan A, plan B, plan C, and sometimes even a lot more plans till Z ready, because you see weather condition. There's so many layers to how weddings. आप events करते हो, आप जानते हो. कभी weather is not right. कभी there's last minute that you decided that you want this particular set to look a certain way, but it's taking time. The production timeline is very tight.
Flowers are not available.
Flowers are not on time. ऐसी बहुत चीज़ें होती है set, when you're putting together the wedding. So glamour is only for social media and what eventually the end wedding looks like. And वो भी अभी it's become like that हर कुछ ही बहुत अच्छा दिखता है. But बारीकी से जो experience of a great wedding is when every guest who's left that wedding or the family for who you worked has said, okay, this was way beyond my expectation. वरना सोशल मीडिया पे तो सभी अच्छा दिखता है आजकल.
So social media pe all we see is thanks to filters. But you are the real guys who actually put the real filters to a wedding and make it look what it is, right?
Absolutely. And that's a lot of hard work. Definitely not glamour.
And we are not undermining that at all, because we know we've seen you on ground and you're always on your feet in your entire team. So kudos to you and each and every individual who's a part of the wedding industry. But let's talk about the wedding podcast before we call it a close for this one. Who do we expect? Kis ko, like, at least don't give us the names, but whom can we expect on the wedding podcast?
It's going to be a very interesting journey. I'm very excited because we've really worked on getting experts from the planning space, from the space of decor and designing, from the space of F&B, which is very big, because आजकल you see food is not कि वो buffet लग गया और बस experience है food में, and there's so much talent. Then there is stylists for the brides. There'll be people from the entertainment space. There will definitely be people from the space of hair, makeup, and a lot in store. यार बहुत है. मतलब this podcast will be quite a journey for everybody who's interested in weddings, and especially the couples who are going to be starting their journey. This will give them a lot of interesting stories and information.
Now coming to the most important question. जैसे शादी में entertainment is important, but ये 3 सवाल बहुत ही अहम है. Budget. Because I know that so much back and forth है. जब सबसे पहले budget ही होता है, हर चीज़ में ये cut करो, वो cut करो. So as a planner, how does one navigate? How does one control and regulate this whole budget situation?
जितना खर्चा करोगे उतनी अच्छी चीज मिलेगी यार. सचिन, कम ऑन.
Fact.
बजट शादियों में लोग जमा करते हैं. दे हैव सो मच ऑफ सेविंग्स. दे वर्क टुवर्ड्स दैट डे. जब से बच्चा पैदा होता है उसकी शादी के लिए ही सब जमा होता है. तो आई थिंक बजट्स प्ले अ वेरी लार्ज रोल, बट दैट्स ऑल्सो वन एरिया जहाँ फैमिलीज को पता है हमको खर्चा करना है, पर किस तरह से करना है, सेंसिबली करना है, उसको कैसे यूटिलाइज करना है, वो हमारा काम है. उसमें दैट्स वेयर द प्लानर कम्स इन, दैट्स वेयर द एंटायर टीम कम्स इन टू बी एबल टू पुट इट विद इन द नंबर दैट यू हैव इन योर माइंड. तो अगर आपने डिसाइड किया है कि मुझे मेरे बच्चे की शादी एक स्टाइल में करानी है, आपको वो बताना है. द काइंड ऑफ नंबर दैट यू हैव इन माइंड, यू आपको वो बताना है. एंड देन इट्स फॉर द प्लानर to make this feasible within the parameters that have been defined to them.
Now I'm going to hold you at the mic point and we're going to do a quick rapid fire. Are you ready for this one?
Okay.
First question. लड़की वाले लड़के वाले?
जो हमें hire करे.
Outdoor wedding or indoor wedding?
Outdoor any day. बहुत कुछ create कर सकते हैं.
Traditional lehenga or a gown?
Lehenga for me.
Cake cutting or motichur laddu?
Motichur laddu at the mehndi function, but cake cutting at the reception. I'm a planner. I'm very much.
It's wedding podcast. You will get so many details. It's traditional fairas or the wedding vows?
Traditional fairas.
Live band or DJ for the reception? Think twice before you answer this one.
Oh, live band followed by the DJ.
Diplomacy at its peak. Okay. Spontaneous planning or meticulous planning?
Meticulous has to be and has to be. That's the only way.
The amount of DJs that we've got, definitely. This question was answered there. Wedding traditions, keep them or ditch them?
Traditions are important. In fact, I feel people should revive them. We are losing them. So traditions for sure.
Keep that sanctity alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Indian weddings mein to zaruri hai.
Season wedding, off-season wedding?
Off-season is the only time we rest. So no off-season weddings, only season weddings.
All right. Planned wedding or eloped wedding?
I want to start a division to plan the elopes. How about that?
She's just chokke chakke mare ja rahi hai. And the last one that I have is high money, bad experience, good experience, less money.
Good money, good experience.
You got the answers for all that. So with the good money, good experience, you get the best from the business, which is Aarti Manocha.
Absolutely. And you get the best information at the wedding podcast.
Well, a lot of insights, and we're looking forward to that. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, and we are looking forward to all the episodes of the wedding podcast to get to know more details of the wedding planning world. Thank you so much, and wishing you the best.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for doing this. Thank you so much for being on this first one. This is really, I'm grateful to you for this. And you can see us on the wedding podcast on YouTube for more knowledge, more information, understanding this industry better. And on Instagram, the wedding podcast will be the handle.
Well, generally हमको लगता है कि शादियाँ is a cakewalk because हम जाते हैं attend करते हैं 2-3 दिनों की शादी attend करके आते हैं, but there is so much that goes into it. It takes a village to create, and these are the creators. So we look forward to that. Once again,
lot of fun. Looking forward to that.
Wishing you the best for the wedding podcast, and as they say, अभी तो party शुरू
हुई है.
For all the insights on the wedding podcast,
like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Where it's the handle, the wedding podcast.